What up, Eagle family? Thanks for tapping in. I got another raw banger for y'all today. Today, I'm going to be talking about um, ways you can blend in to help you catch shoplifters and more things you can look for and use to find and catch your shoplifters. So, right off the bat, if you were working with a team and you got females on your team, you can use that um, to become creative on how you observe people in the store. So one of the things me and my PIC used to do, shout out to Big Steph, we used to act like a couple in the store. And I'm not talking about holding hands and kissing and all that shit. No, I'm just talking about grabbing an empty cart. We go back to infants. We grab one of the car seats that's not, strapped down on this display. We put it on the cart, throw a blanket on top of it, and act like we got a little family going on. You feel me? And we walk in the store, shopping, acting like normal customers. And then next thing you know, we watching the push out go out. We watching people under ring. We watching people skip scan. We watching people conceal, catching people in the act as we walking by aisles. You feel me? So that's one of the ways we got creative on the sales floor. You know what I mean? So if you have female APs, they add a lot of value to the team. You look highly suspicious when you are watching somebody in the women's department and the cosmetics department, the infants department, the girls department. You just look like a creep. You feel me? So when I'm in those departments, I usually tend to have my badge out so people know who I am. And sometimes I'll have my walkie out just so that people know that I work for the store. You know what I mean? Because if you're a man in any of those departments, you look like a creep. And if I'm, a dad, if I'm like a normal customer and I see somebody in the store like looking around and looking over shit, I'm gonna think something's up. You feel me? So that's why I do that, just to keep that heat up off me. Other things that will help you in doing this role is not dressed in so clean, depending on what area you work in. So when you working in a certain type of store, understand what type of environment you working in. Talk like them, dress like them, move how they move. Because anybody that is from the outside stick out like a sore thumb. Anybody that's from that environment knows that you're not from that environment, knows because of some of the cues that you giving off. You walk like you ain't from here, you talk like you ain't from here, you dress like you most definitely ain't from around here. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be the police. Some of y'all be dressing and looking like the police sometimes. Be too cut, too clean. You know what I mean? Sideburns is missing and shit. Yeah, we know you from the police side. You feel me? Um, Especially if you working in some of these urban neighborhoods. You working in some of these urban neighborhoods, they gonna catch on to you quick. Sometimes I would dress up homeless, like I was homeless. You know what I'm saying? I'd dress in baggy ass clothes, you know what I mean? And would nobody think twice about it. They think that I'm the nigga stealing in the store, if anything. So get creative with it. Things that you want to look for just the basics, man. Empty bags, empty anything, empty bags, empty purses, concealable bags, reusable bags, duffel bags, trash cans, totes. Right off the back, if you see any of them things walking in the store, you follow it. You follow it. Um, Because anybody that comes into the store with an empty bag, an empty purse, an empty backpack, an empty luggage bag is coming to do some dirt. They're coming into the store to do some dirt. They didn't get off no airplane. They didn't get off no Greyhound. Them niggas is coming in to do some dirt. And they not coming to steal a little. Real shit. Now, if you see anybody that selects any of these things, if they select a purse, backpack, a luggage bag, a tote, a trash can. Follow that immediately. A lot of these times, these people will conceal in all them things that I just named off. They'll take it to self checkout, scan just the backpack or just scan the tote, the trash can, and then they got $200-300 worth of merchandise sitting inside the concealed trash can, purse, backpack, luggage bag, or whatever they're using, and they'll be walking away with extra merchandise that they didn't pay for. That's why a lot of the time they will avoid going through a regular register, because they know sometimes there are cashiers that will do their job. Bob and Lisa look inside always, looking inside the backpacks, the totes, the trash cans, and then some of the what's funny is that some of the time people will get caught and be like, "Oh no, I don't want that. I didn't even know that was in there. Oh, that was already in there when I got it." Man, they be lying. But anyway, so they'll just ditch it once they caught, if they go through a register. But 9 times out of 10, if they avoid the register and they got totes, trash cans, reusable bags, it's because they got extra merchandise concealed in those bags. So if they select any of these items or they come in with any of these items, you follow that right off the bat. Now, last but not least, anybody that selects a high theft item, I don't care what it is, if it's high theft and somebody has just selected it, you follow that. You follow that merchandise. It's high theft for a reason. That's the only reason you need to start following somebody off of a high theft item. It's a high theft item. So I'm going to follow that. Now, if you are checking your theft reports, then you know where you need to be. For all the grasshoppers that's just starting off, read your theft reports every single day if you can, if not every week. Every week, every day, you need to be reading your theft reports. Your theft reports are going to tell you where you need to be, where you need to go, what departments need the most attention. And I promise you, if you go where that paperwork is telling you, you're going to catch a lot of bodies. And so if you're not catching them, and that's the tricky part about it, once you identify where you need to be and you like, okay, I'm working this area, I'm still not catching nothing, you need to start thinking about how that merchandise might be making its way out the door. Is it being concealed? Is it being pushed out? Is it being ticket switched? Is it being underrung at the self checkout? That's where it comes down to investigating how that merchandise is getting out of the door. So, for some of you, it might be difficult to catch on, but I promise you, if you start just following that merchandise, the people will show you exactly how it's getting out of the door. They got their ways on how they shoplift. People are comfortable with different things. So I always take an account that it's going to be a little bit of everything. It just comes down to how much of it is being pushed out, how much of it is being ticket switched, underringed, concealed. You know what I mean? So 9 times out of 10, if you're getting hit real hard for the same product, most likely it's being concealed and it's being pushed out. Off top, it's being concealed and it's being pushed out. Read your theft reports. Stay on top of them theft reports. Them theft reports is going to show you how to move, where you need to be, what items are being targeted the most. You know what I'm saying? Then you go over there, you check out exactly where that merchandise is, how it's being, stocked. Learn your store, learn your areas, learn your departments, learn your merchandise, learn your brands. Not everybody carries the same brand. Know your brands, know your shit. Get in that book work. Get in that book work. Start reading up on some of this stuff. The more you know, the more knowledge you have, the more power you have in this game. You can catch shoplifters all day, every day. Anybody can do that, but you got to get that book work done. You got to have knowledge. Because if I would have had the knowledge that I know now, I would have been a lot more deadlier. I'm giving you these tips so you can't say that you don't know. These are the tips. These tips that I just gave you is going to help you out when you out there on the floor. But they will only look. Let me say this right now. They will be more effective if you're walking the floor than if you're somebody who likes to sit in the office. Because all the game that I'm giving y'all is solely based off floor walking. I'm not trying to say nothing about people who do sit in the office all day. I'm not trying to say nothing bad about those type of APAs at all. All I'm saying is this. The game that I'm giving y'all is solely based off floor walking. Things that I've seen, experienced, and I'm telling you, the game that I'm giving y'all is going to be way more effective if you're a floor walker than if you're somebody who sits in the office and watch the cameras. Because if you just sit in the office all day, this game probably won't be as effective and useful to you as it will be to those who actually walk the floor. You know what I'm saying? Period. And that's just the way it is. But yeah, get creative. Be creative when it comes to working at your store, when it comes to hunting shoplifters, keeping observation, choosing your angles on how you gonna keep observation of your shoplifter. Learn your store. You should know the store better than anybody else in that bitch, including the store manager. You pop out on his or her ass at any time and scare them once in a while just to let them know. You know what I'm saying? Like real shit. Know your store. You need to know that store better than anybody else. That is your house. Period. You need to make everything your business. Everything that goes on needs to be your business. I don't care who don't like it. Management can kick rocks too if they don't like it. Because at the end of the day, they don't want no smoke with our boss. If we know something got to be done, so for example, if something needs to be spider wrap, right? Because it's high theft merchandise, we tell an associate that it needs to be spider wrap, right? And it's not spider wrap. After the first time I told you, I'm gonna follow up with you and I'm gonna say, hey, this needs to be spider wrap. Can we get this spider wrap immediately? That's the second time. Third time, I'm gonna go holla at they boss and I'm gonna tell them I've asked them twice to spider wrap this high theft merchandise. This needs to be done immediately. Can you make sure we get this handled? Yes, I'll make sure it gets done. Bet. Now, if it stops there, cool. Problem solved. If it don't, after you've told they manager, they lead, they coach, whoever they want to call themselves these days, if they don't get that merchandise spider wrap, and then you go to your boss and you say, hey, look, I done had a conversation with the associate 2 times. I told they coach or they lead about the situation, and then they didn't do nothing. And if your boss got to show up, it's gonna be a problem. Let me tell you that right now. It's gonna be a problem. Somebody gonna lose their job. I've seen managers lose their jobs over performance and stuff that is not being done in the store. when it came down to, AP business. Like real shit. I'm not saying this just to be saying it. I've seen managers lose their jobs. When my managers show up or my market managers show up, it's they come in to check some shit. And somebody's gonna be held accountable. And then somebody gonna lose their job. It's never good. So I promise you, people be talking that shit in the workplace about AP, but I promise you, don't nobody want the smoke. Don't nobody want the smoke because we gonna have the last word, especially if our boss got to get into the situation. You know what I'm saying? Period. I'm just gonna say it just like that. But anyway, use these tips that I've given y'all. Be creative with it. Have fun with it. Don't let it stress you out. For all the grasshoppers, understand this ain't gonna be overnight. You're not gonna get all this down overnight. There is a lot of information you've got to learn that you got to take your time with it and learn the right way because you do not want to make a mistake in this line of work, especially if it comes to stopping somebody who has not walked out with, unpaid for merchandise. You do not want to always be ahead of yourself. You want to make smart decisions. You don't want to be a liability. This shoplifting shit done got out of control. So I'm gonna need y'all go out there, keep putting y'all foot up these people's asses. Thanks for tapping in. Stand your ground. Watch your surroundings. Be alert at all times. It's your boy Eagle Eye Miller. Till next time, raw and unscripted.